Greetings, everybody. My name is Mitch Dyer. I'm sitting here with my best Battlefield buddy in the whole world, Scott Lowe.
Hello, everyone.
Scott Lowe. Oh my gosh, Battlefield 4, Commander Mode.
It's pretty incredible. So, as we saw at the Microsoft reveal, we got a little taste of the single player once again, the campaign.
Yes.
This was a greater look at the multiplayer, specifically at EA's press conference.
Yes.
So, this is a pretty extended demo, and it reveals the return, as you mentioned, Commander Mode, which basically allows one player from each team, again, 64 players, so one from each team, and this person basically through their PC or console or tablet, it could be an iPad or an Android tablet, they can basically see where their team is, set, goals and, instructions for them, and communicate to the team as a whole, whereas everyone else is kind of limited to just their individual squad.
Right, very similar to Battlefield 2, where the Commander Mode originated. You have this person who has a tactical view of the entire battlefield and can understand where people need to be and the best way to get there. So they're shouting orders. And if you're not listening to your commander, in Battlefield 2 at least, and ideally that will transfer over to Battlefield 4, you will lose. That is a hugely important feature and integral to teamwork.
And so, more importantly, this is the first look at Battlefield 4's multiplayer, which
64 players on console and PC.
And PC, which is previously only for PC, whereas console was 32.
Yes.
So this is actually a really interesting segment. The players here are actually going to take out the pillars to take out this tank by dropping it down into their level.
It's so good. I mean,
it's just absolutely insane.
And that really showcases the stuff that we were worried about, which was, hey, Battlefield 3 didn't really up the ante with destruction as much as we hoped. Battlefield 4 really is, and we're going to get a really good look at that later.
It's really impressive to see what they can do with this, because I mean, a lot of this looks like a scripted event, but it's this is all real players. Like, these are all, they had all of the 64 players on stage at this press conference. Whether or not they were really playing is who knows, but
yeah, it's hard to get a sense of space in this map as well, because it is very large. One of the biggest maps I've ever seen in Battlefield, and there's just so much to do. There's different control points very far spread out. There's tons of vehicles, air, sea, land, all that stuff in the exact same space. And you're covering a lot of ground here.
Yeah, and this also kind of showcases the water vehicles, which are coming back in a big way. Obviously, Battlefield 3 had a number of water vehicles, like with an underwater tank and stuff, or an amphibious tank, but this is a much greater expansion to it. In a little bit, we'll see some actual jet skis.
Yeah, I was kind of sad because Bad Company 2 was so good, and Battlefield 3 didn't have a lot of the stuff that I loved about Bad Company 2. Maybe getting all these numbers mixed up. I'm just hoping so hard for a Bad Company 3, Scott. But it's really bringing back the core elements of what makes Battlefield Bad Company 2 so special in Battlefield 4. And that pleases me so much.
So this is where things get interesting. As our players are getting attacked by an attack helicopter from the opposing team, they're running inside. And, as you see here, they're moving into an elevator, which actually takes them up a level, which is obviously
takes them up a lot of levels.
Yeah, it takes them up quite a bit, which is obviously a mechanic that didn't exist in existing multiplayer. And here you can see, all the players playing in real time.
64
on PC,
of them,
obviously.
all at once.
So as these, I think they're trying to transition here, so to the top of the building where this elevator took them to, absolutely incredible how much verticality there is, how
totally
high up you can get.
If you brought a sniper up here, you would have a great view, but you'd be vulnerable to stuff like this, which means you can't just sit there and snipe and cheat. Cheat.
So
I
again,
snipe for Scott.
This is very much like that scene from True Lies where the Harry is just kind of laying into the people on the building. So it's really interesting, again, that kind of set piece feel of the multiplayer. But here's where things get really interesting with Commander Mode. They can also call in artillery, and you see he was playing with an iPad. He was able to drop artillery from afar. And basically support his team here.
I'm wondering what other skills they have aside from, well, I'll just drop a big bomb on there and set like the problem-solving button, right? Do they have other skills? Can they drop supply packages
I would
and
imagine
ammo
so.
to their
I
guys?
mean, in Battlefield 2, it was, you can do UAV, you can provide intel. Like, there's a lot of different elements you can do there. with the commander mode, and I really do think the second screen experience with the tablet is just the true nature of how like gaming is moving, and just
well, and
really,
that's the perfect embodiment of what we want from that kind of stuff. We don't want dumb companion apps that don't really relate to the game. This is really integrated in a meaningful
real-time
way.
integration with players anywhere else in the world. So like if you're like on the bus and you have a 4G connection, you could feasibly play as commander in Battlefield 4. It's incredible. So again, of course, jumping off buildings with parachutes, nothing unfamiliar to the Battlefield franchise.
There was a lot of floors, though. The results of it are pretty huge.
This next sequence, though, this is incredible.
It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen in a Battlefield game, where this building has been shelled so badly that it's coming to pieces and toppling over.
And so, this is like a contextual event, much like in Caspian Border in Battlefield 3, but very, very impressive. And so where do they go for all their Battlefield 4 coverage?
IGN.com.